So we are going to be making our own ink, and we are using artist grade pigment. And I have an ivory black here, and I also have an India red, and we're going to be making both. But for the video, I'm just going to show you how to do one, and you can do the exact same thing with the other. So with this, you're going to use 1 part pigment and 1/4 part gum arabic. Now I actually have the powder, and so you can look online to see how to mix it, but I use like 1 cup of warm water. You don't want it boiling hot, but you want it very warm. And then you're going to add several tablespoons into that. You stir it up, and you're going to make sure it's completely dissolved. And then, so what we're going to do is 1/4 teaspoon. So it's 1 part pigment to 1/4 part gum arabic. So what we will have is this isn't a real teaspoon, but just to show you, you're going to take 1 part of this. And the one thing with this is you want to be very, very cautious. If you have any allergic reactions or anything else, you may even want to wear a mask. You do not want to breathe this in. I'm going to shut this immediately, because if you even get 1 or 2 little just tiny dots of the pigment, and if it gets wet, it will permanently stain anything you have. It really is. So it is very messy. So if you need to, use gloves also. Now we're going to get, normally I would not use the same spoon. We will have a 1/4 teaspoon and a teaspoon at our station here, but you can, however you want to measure it out at home. So I am just going to guess here. That's not quite a 1/4. Let me, it's probably a little more. Okay, so I'm going to mix this in, and you'll just use your little stick that you have. And you're going to tell real quick if you need a little more liquid. So what I did is I just stir it up really well, and then I may add 1 or 2 more little drops. And since I don't have a 1/4 teaspoon, I can't really tell how much I got in here. But if you did, you would know exactly. But even after you add this then, and you really want to do 1 part to a 1/4 part. And if it's still very thick, just add 1 or 2 drops of water. Do it very slowly, and then stir, 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 until you get the consistency you like. But you want all of the grains to be dissolved. Can you see how it's getting nice and smooth? And depending on how you're going to use your ink, you may want it thicker, you may want it much, much thinner. So I am very carefully going to try to not knock this over. I have one of these little glass, or actually fake glass jars, and I am just going to very carefully pour this in. And if you still have a lot of graininess down here, you can add just a couple drops of water. Went and got a couple drops of water to try to get most of this out. And if you have a small stick, you could just stir it in your pot. You just want to be really, really careful. But it's just as simple as this. Cover it up. And then, I usually just give it a little while to set, and then I stir it before I use it. And if it's too thick, I add just a drop or two of water. Or if it's way, way too thin, you can also add a few little bits of pigment again, but stir it very well.